Hi everyone, my name is Nux. Welcome to my channel. I will be sharing 5 yoga poses with you today for a better posture. Yes, sometimes we think that, we need to lift ourselves upright or, and hold that, be stiff, but it's not necessarily have to be like that. So these postures that I'll be sharing is designed to create a little bit of space and also strengthen the muscles that holds us upright, if that makes sense. You need 2 blocks for this practice, and I will give you loads of options when we are there and give you a little bit of information about why I picked these postures. I'm lucky enough to practice with few people recently that want to correct their postures. I hope you like it. We'll start shortly. So get yourself ready on the middle part of your mat. If you haven't got the blocks, okay, I suggest maybe grab a couple of books that you have, thick books, that will do. First posture will be puppy dog posture. Puppy dog, it gives a beautiful extension. Not only that, it also opens up your shoulders. So I'm going to place the very basic puppy dog. We'll go into it from our tabletop position. Bring the hands underneath the shoulders, the knees stack right underneath the hips. So I'll show you the first option without the blocks. So we extend the hands forward. We melt the chest down, placing our forehead on our mats. If you find that it's not actually getting there, that's when you bring the blocks underneath your foreheads, 1 or 2 blocks. So I'll get you pick your option first. So I'm going to stay with this variation first. And if you one of these people that practice this regularly, then you know what to do. You get rid of the block, you bring your chin down. Okay. As you practice this posture, imagine that my chin is down. I don't want my voice to microphone to move actually. So you just right here, keeping the hips back, your knees stack right underneath them, and we stay. How do you position the hands? You can separate the hands as wide as your mat to give you more room on the shoulders. Okay, so just keep breathing here and feel the extension. So that's one of the postures. My friends who want to take it slightly deeper, you could bring that block underneath the chin, and that's going to give you a little bit more release along the mid back. So it kind of releases all the tissues and muscles around where the heart is. Another, if you want intensity, that we could do, bring in our fingertips grounded. Okay. So while you do that, you are feeling the stretch along the armpits. You don't have to use the blocks, so simply coming down, whether on your chin, forehead, you'll find eventually the heart will melt down. Okay, so let's hold this for 3 more breath counts. I've given you options. So puppy dog, any variation that you are in at the moment, bring your focus to your breath. Okay. Remember, it will get easier with practice. Wherever you are, you have to keep it safe. And that's another reminder for you. Beautiful. So let's gently bring our awareness to our hands, arms, and slowly release. As a counter pose, I'll give you a little bit of recovery. Your recovery could be a cat posture. So you round your back, release the head, and try to create space along the mid back and the upper back. Okay, so just keep the breath flowing. Your recovery might be a child where you separate the knees slightly, extending and walking the hands forward. You rest fully. You're welcome to move as well. So you could freely move and circle the hips and the shoulders. Beautiful. Wherever you are, let's meet on our down tabletop. And going to our second posture. And I think that is a posterior chain gold, a must posture if you are trying to improve your posture at all. So lying down on your front. You don't need blocks for this one. So I'll just put them aside. Our locust. Remember before we lift our legs, we try to lift and lengthen as if our feet try to move away from the center. We then position the hands. Your hands can be positioned. There are so many things we could do with our hands. But just remember for now that when we lift the head, we have to elongate the neck so we don't compress. The chat that we had earlier, we try to create space while we do this with so much engagement. So the positioning of the hands can be grounded. Your hands can come closer to your ribs. All right, option one. With option two, the traditional way is to bring the hands by the side. Your palms can press to help you lengthen. In some traditions, you might see that the front of the hands come down and push and press to give you a little bit of support. What happens here when we interlace the fingers behind us, we have this opportunity to externally rotate the shoulders for a little bit of a lift up. Avoid compressing along the neck, okay? So we try to lengthen, breathe, and fire the back body. So you should be feeling your glutes, all right? And if you bring your awareness to your shoulder blades, try to push them down away from the ears, and then they try to come close. So giving you loads of options, okay? So that is like holding the posture for a minute or so, and then we release. You come down anytime you want, okay? So what you could do, you can embrace and come back to it. And as you practice these postures, you'll be able to hold them longer, okay? So elongation is important, and the breath flows. Right, release your hands, relax your body. You can turn your head to the side if you like. Your recovery, I just showed earlier, anyway, it's actually beneficial for you. So just recover. All right, circling the hips maybe. You can take your cow, looking up, and your cat. Okay, allow the body to move. Beautiful. Our next posture is a dolphin, right? Dolphin gives us a massive, tremendous amount of space along the spine. The basic dolphin that you can do with a sport is bringing the hands together. I mean, there are loads of options. I'll show you these as we go along. The first one will be pressing your palms towards each other. The knees stack right underneath the hips. We tuck our toes. We try to lift the hips as high as possible, gazing at the back of the mat. All right. So keep breathing here. And if your hamstrings allow, we try to lengthen and give the hips a little bit more lift. Okay, so stay on your toes. Eventually, You'll be able to bring the heels down, but let's focus on the back body for now. So your shoulders actively try to move away from the ears. So you should feel your back body firing up and your spine is kind of releasing. It's a bit of like a gravity um, help you to create space, if that makes sense. Keep the breath flowing, gazing back. All right. With dolphin, what we also could do, place the palms down. I know some of you might be there already. Traditionally, right? You separate the fingers, elbows, the forearms, press, and eventually with the flexibility you gain through the hamstrings, you'll be able to press the heels down towards the earth. Remember, the neck releases, okay? So the neck is long. Be mindful of that. Neck is long, breath is steady, beautiful, but eventually, right, with this posture, you'll be able to walk a little bit more, lifting the hips higher, and that will kind of give you the foundation for your arm balance, But for now, we are concentrating on releasing, creating space along the spinal cord and stretching the shoulders. You might find that your head is close to the ground. It will change with practice. So I'm going to walk back, lifting the heels. Okay, take a deep breath in and out and release. Bend the knees, recover. So your recovery posture, I'm going to take my child and taking the arms behind me will give me more release along the front of the shoulders and on the upper back. So just keep the breath flowing. If you are in movement, just go for it. Taking slow, deep breaths. Fabulous. When you're ready, come onto your hands and knees. Beautiful. We've got two more postures. Bridge. Why I picked bridge is that it gives you another chance to activate the back body, okay, while strengthening the glutes and stretching the hip flexors. Are we going to use the blocks? Not necessarily. I mean, you could do a passive. Right, I'll show you a few options with a block. So we lie down on our backs. Okay. And make sure your feet hip distance apart and closer to your bottom. You could test it with your fingertips should touch your heels, right? So that's the alignment. Let's focus on the shoulders for now, all right? Place your palms up towards the sky. Lift your shoulders up and down. Okay, bring your awareness when you lift onto your shoulder blades and actively press the shoulder blades away, down, and release. Beautiful. On the next one, we're going to lift the hips up, lift the hips. Remember the action of trying to bring the shoulder blades down. Actively try to do that. Fantastic. So I'm not focusing on lifting the hips up. I'm focusing on engaging the back body. So how would you do that? And some of you might need to lift the heels up to get a little bit more lift on the shoulders. As you see, I'm lifting my shoulder and shoulder blade. All right, and my arm lifts, and then I try to place it underneath my back body. Eventually, you'll be able to bring the fingers together. Interlacing the fingers together will give you a little bit more strength. So whatever you have, grounded, your toes, your heels, maybe your forearms, your elbows, eventually, you'll be able to lift the hips higher. What I can also tell you in here that you're okay to release the hips a little bit, working on your, again, posterior, all right, the back muscles, and then lift higher. Okay, make sure to create room along the neck. We never press the neck down onto earth, so your neck is comfortable. Sometimes I hear a lot of people saying chin to chest. I don't know if that cue works for you, but what it does is gives you a little bit more compression along the neck. I suggest that you have neutral spine along the neck and you focus on activating the back body and lifting higher. Wherever you are, just you can come out of the posture, okay? I know some of you are advanced practitioners. Eventually, you'll go into a wheel from here, but we'll just focus on the bridge for now. So let's say that you are able to lift the heels high, you see, so that's giving you a little bit more lift and what is changed. So just play with this. Activation on the legs, releasing the pelvis a little bit, glutes relax, and then you might want to lift higher. So did you see that little release is giving you a more lift, right? Sometimes you might see people positioning their hands overhead, and that's all right as well. So there's another option that you could do. All right, let's release for now. I'll show you how we could passively do a bridge with a block. So you could position it in a height that you're happy with. I'll position it upright. Your tailbone need to center the block, if that makes sense. So you lift the heels, lift the hips, position your block, and release. So what that could give you is a longer hold. Remember that external rotation on the shoulders, firing up the back body, and release. Yeah. So again, I know you've got loads of options here. So if you maybe stick to those postures, I'll again write you on a description. Find a variation that works for you and practice them often if that your aim is to have a better posture. So lowering the hip, beautiful, my friends. Let's recover. Your recovery could be simply bringing the knees in towards your chest. Okay, so give it a little bit of a release. Beautiful. I quite like to lift my head up after a bridge for some reason. It gives like a beautiful extension behind. Okay, right. Last posture. I mean, that is a must, right? I love this spotted fish posture. Okay, it's not active. Eventually, you could bring activation into a passive fish we are focusing on today. So these blocks, or just one block, is going to rest underneath your shoulder blades. Okay, I'm bringing my block behind me. I'll demonstrate with only one first, or that could be your book. Sometimes if you find that your head is so high and you've got neck issues, placing a pillow underneath or the second block could go underneath the head is beneficial. So lying down on your back, placing the block underneath the shoulder blades, simply releasing the legs and the head, and you position the arms and give this beautiful opening along the front of the body, okay? And your shoulders also benefit from it. Beautiful. And you might find that you need this extra block. Position it in a way you feel safe and comfortable. Right. Or, my friends who practice regularly, you can position them differently. So let's do it this way. I don't have any neck issues, so I release my head fully and position my arms to the side. Do you see this mid back, an openness, space that we have? Right. Fantastic. You have an other option to bring the blocks. You might have one of those thick blocks, and so many different types these days. You're lucky, right? But sometimes it gets confusing. So you see, it's in my mid back. I don't want that. I want it higher where the shoulder blades are, right? So be mindful of this. So I rest my shoulder blades. As you see, my chest is lifted, my shoulders down. I've got loads of room along the neck, and then I release. Beautiful. I love this posture. Ah, fantastic. So just let's keep breathing. Okay, coming out of a fish posture is so important. I'll just remind you that when you're ready to come up, give yourself a support with one hand. So you position the hand behind your head, you lift your head forward, chin to chest. You've got other hand to push and support you upright, and you release. That's it, my friends. 5 postures. So I'll remind you what they are. We've done puppy dog. Okay, any variation that you'll look out or you like the ones that I showed you. And we've got our locus, beautiful activation. It's a must. It's the golden posterior chain pose. And we've done our dolphin, bridge, and fish. And that's it. I hope you enjoy it. Comment what you think of this video and the practice, and I'll see you next time. Thank you. I hope you enjoyed it. Namaste.